Hey everyone, welcome back to Papa Workshop. I have a different type of video today. And what I'm doing, I have this staple gun here by Porter Cable. Now this is a 20 volt lithium ion battery that goes onto this gun, and this gun is jammed. It will not release. Something inside is out of place, broken, I don't know what yet. So we're going to take this gun apart, and I'm going to show you step by step what it takes to be able to take one of these apart and hopefully fix it and get it back in operation. Now before you want to start working on this gun, obviously make sure that the battery has been removed. And also you can have this little window right here that you can see that the staples are still in there. You want to make sure that you remove the staples before working on this gun. Today I want to take this gun apart. It is jammed beyond belief. It will not release. By being able to release this, it is totally jammed. The only way to fix this is to take it apart. And that's exactly what we're going to do. There's about 8 or 10 screws that need to be taken out. Some of them are different lengths, so you have to be careful with that. And it has a series of screws here that we need to take out. Now I'm not going to take all of these out on camera. That's just a little bit boring. I am going to orient these screws and lay them out on the workbench so I know exactly how they go back in. Because as I said, some of these screws are shorter than others, and you don't want to get these mixed up. So I'll be right back in just a minute after I have all of these screws taken out so I can release this side of the cover on this staple gun. I'm removing the last screw now. Once I get that out, I should be able to separate this housing and lift this cover completely off. And that, of course, if I didn't miss any screws. So let's see if this will lift off. Now it still seems a little bit tight. It looks like I'm going to need to remove these 2 screws that hold this little cover on the motor itself. So I'm grabbing a screwdriver. I'm going to remove these 2 screws. And again, you can see how I have all of these screws laid out in the correct order so that I can put them back in. And these screws, as it turns out, are very short. So I'll set those aside, and then I'll be able to lift this cover off. And that should release this so that the gun basically splits in half. Okay, at this point, the screws are out, and that cover just lifts off, and it exposes the motor itself. We don't need to do anything with that, so hopefully that will take care of it. But that makes it where this now will separate easy. You have to be careful though with this trigger, and I'm not being real good with that. And that trigger, you saw that spring fly, and the little pin is out of its spot. So that's going to be a little bit of an effort to put back in, but not too big of a deal. So now we need to turn this around and actually see what's causing the problem. First, we'll get the pin out. And now let's see if we can determine what the cause and why this is jammed. I'm going to turn this around so you can see it. And there's this little plunger right here that is not moving. And that's the problem. That plunger needs to be able to move up and down. And I have to be able to release that. Pushing it to the top of the screen didn't work, so I'm going to push it to the bottom of the screen and see if that releases it. Now, this mechanism right here was what was out of sequence, and now it is retracting the way it should. I don't see any debris in here at all, so it looks like that was the only problem. All we need to do now is just put it back together. And hopefully that was the easy fix. Now the first thing I want to do is put this trigger back in place and put this spring on. Now the spring itself fits right down inside of the trigger and against this flat portion on that little plastic housing. That long point on the trigger activates that little micro switch there that actually fires the gun. Now with those 2 components in place, then I can drop in the little hinge pin and have the trigger back where it should be. So it's a real easy assembly. I want to test this trigger out, make sure that it works correctly, and it does. And you can see this little micro switch there is activated by that trigger, and that's what actually makes the gun fire. At this point, we're ready to put the cover back on. Again, I'm not going to bore you with just putting a whole bunch of screws in, but let's test out the gun now and see if it works. That's what I want to see. This is perfect. So this now has a working stapler, and I'm ready to be able to put it back to use. And this is actually very rewarding because it's a whole lot better than having to throw this into the trash can. And this repair didn't cost anything at all to be able to save this staple gun. Now I can get back to work and build a couple of drawers. Now, over the last several years that I have had this gun, it has been a very reliable gun. But if it gets jammed, you're supposed to be able to just flip this lever and be able to clear it and be able to keep going. Well, as you saw, that little plunger was jammed in there and it would not release. So it's a very simple fix to be able to take this gun apart and be able to repair it to be able to get it back in the operation. What I don't want you to do is just automatically take a gun and just throw it away. These nail guns can be very expensive, and oftentimes it's a very, very easy fix to be able to repair these staple guns and get them back in operation. I want to thank everybody for watching this really short video today, but I thought it was important to be able to share with you how easy it is to be able to fix some of these nail guns. And it's a lot better than having to throw them away and buy new. If it's a fix that is so easy to be able to do, as you saw in this video, it's well worth the time. Because literally it only took less than 10 minutes to be able to repair this stapler to be able to get back in operation. So if you like this very short video, by all means, give me the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.